What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Fools Get Clean 2 podcast, where we highlight people's recovery journey. This is Colleen Barrett, our next guest.
Hi.
Hi, Colleen.
Hi.
So how was it growing up for you? How was your childhood?
My childhood was actually pretty good. My parents were divorced. My parents divorced when I was younger, but my mom was always stable, dad always stable, so I never really had like a bad childhood growing up. So it was pretty good.
How was elementary and junior high for you? How was your school years growing up?
I feel like those were my like awkward stages, I would say, but for the most part, it was fine. Yeah.
Even into high school?
High school, I had a blast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when the substance use started or the alcohol started?
The alcohol and substance, it was like just weed and alcohol. Yeah, but I could drink like any quarterback under the table. You know what I mean, in high school. And I didn't know how to stop either. So,
So that's when it was fun, though, right?
Yeah. No bills, parents paying for everything,
When did your drug and alcohol use start becoming an issue?
So I've always partied and I've always used drugs. And then after high school, I would dabble in coke and do ecstasy and party in clubs and all of that stuff, right? And so what really got me into like hard drugs was when my father passed.
Oh man, sorry to hear about that. So were you using to kind of cope with that also? Did it get progressively worse because of that?
Yes, 100%. So I would dabble I dabbled a little bit with meth, right? With a girl in college, right? And just a little bit because it was helping her study and I wanted it too. So I was like, oh yeah, perfect. And, from there we were using it like that recreationally. And then when my father passed, I was like, boom,
Yeah.
full force.
Where did your addiction take you? Like, did you get incarcerated at all or like get in trouble at school?
It took me a minute to get incarcerated. I was living with my boyfriend who was the dope dealer, right? At the time. And I was maintaining like employment, school, doing stuff like that, so nobody really noticed, but I just stayed away from like my family and people that were sober and close to me. Now incarceration happened years later. So my boyfriend who I was living with at the time, he got raided and got snitched on. It's always got to be somebody snitching on somebody, right? And he ended up having, like pounds and pounds and pounds of drugs in the garage, right? So I wasn't going to tell on him. So I went along with him to prison. And that was my first time ever going to jail and ever going to prison.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
So how was it like first going to the county jail? Was it scary for you?
At first I was just like, oh my God, I don't belong here. Like, how do I get out of here? Entitled. Like I need the cops, excuse me. I need it, thinking that they were there to cater to my needs. But I truly found out that they weren't,
Is there anything that stands out to you from that time in the county that you remember vividly till today?
I mean, so many. I mean, I can't even pick one.
What are a few of them then?
I mean, honestly, like having to, cut your nails. So if you have nails, like having to clip those off, like you can't, if you have like long manicured nails, you have to clip them off. If you have hair extensions, you got to pull them out. You can't have hair ties. They have to be commissary hair ties. So I would come in sometimes in county jail looking like my hair just all over the place and wanting a fucking hair tie, I mean, just, 2 blankets, sharing a bunk or being in a 2-man cell because you have problems with people, or, I mean, just the smell of that place.
It's just a distinctive smell.
It's a distinct smell.
Yeah,
when you walk in there, you're like, here I am at the main.
that stuff stays in your clothes too. I remember when I got out of the county one time, I went home and I put my clothes in the hamper and then I went to go wash it and I had that smell. I was like, dude.
Yeah, it's just icky, Yeah. And then I do hate by far the meat that they give us for sandwiches. I will never eat the sandwiches. So if anyone's ever been to County at the Main, you know that the bologna is gross and comes with like liquid, nasty stuff. And I would have to wash it if I was that hungry. Otherwise, I wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, to preserve it or something. Yeah, it was nasty.
But egg day was cool.
Yeah, right. So you said you went to prison your first time also?
Yes.
So how was it going to prison for the first time?
I was nervous at first. Like I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to prison. I went to Chowchilla. I was in county for 8 months. Oh no, like almost a year. And then I took the chain. I went to Chowchilla, and then was in reception, and then made it over the wall in like, I don't know, 2-3 months, you know. And my sentence was 5 years, but I did 2.5. It was only a half time, so I did 2.5. But that was like that's a long time for a first.
Yeah,
you know.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm like, damn, I have to fucking be here for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I don't look like I'm supposed to be in prison.
No, definitely not. So what was your mindset when you got sentenced, when you heard 5 years? Because I know, like, even like my first time being busted, I think I was sentenced to like doing a haul like 6 months, and I was like, dude, 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I thought for sure that they were gonna like give me a little less of time, but I wasn't cooperative in the beginning. Plus, they had like they were following us for a while, so and I was with him, and I was on camera, and they were following us. So it was like a whole little thing, a whole case they were building, you know. So, and I just didn't deny it. I just didn't say anything. I was just like, do whatever you're gonna do, you know.
So when you were in prison, I know people make wine and there's drugs in there. Did you ever use drugs when you were in prison?
I did one time, and it was drugs that I brought in with me. And I don't really care.
What kind was it?
It was meth, and I had some, and I was in the loop, and I chopped it on the back of the toilet.
No way.
With another chick, and we just snorted it.
I think that's the worst drug to do when you're locked up. Is meth.
I didn't care. I was just like, fuck it, here, right on the toilet where the wall, you know, there's a wall, just boom, boom, boom.
Did you ever drink when you were in prison?
No, I didn't. You know, what I did was I had a really good cellie, right? And she was a lifer, and she was there for murdering her husband. And she was like, look, she just kind of gave me the rundown. Hey, look, like, you know, don't buy dope if you can't afford it. You know, don't get a girlfriend because girlfriend is drama, right? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to. And she's like, well, trust me, they're gonna try. And I'm like, well, they're gonna fail. You know, so she just kind of gave me the rundown, and you know, pretty much all I did was just program. So get up, eat, shower, program, do exercise, whatever. You know what I mean? Just kind of do that. You know?
Is there any like fond memory you have from being inside there that sticks to you to this day?
I mean, fun?
No, like fond memory, like something that.
I mean, I saw a lot of crazy shit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give me a couple of examples?
Like, I mean,
you don't have to like say names or anything.
I mean, I'm not gonna say names, but like,
just like examples. Anything, yeah.
Okay. I mean, so there was this girl. There was a specific case where this lady, she came in and she was in our sector, and I think that they did it on purpose, but she was putting like she got life or 25 to life for putting glass in sandboxes, and it hurt kids, you know. And so we all got wind of that, you know, obviously. And so I watched her get her ass handed to her. Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, deserving.
I was like, well, you deserve it, but
no, for sure.
But they really they really did that to chicks in there, you know. So I saw a lot of crazy stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
violations of all kinds.
So what happened when you got out of prison? What was that like for you then?
You know, it's weird, and I tell people this all the time, is like when I was leaving prison, I was almost like, because I was comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, so I was getting fed. I didn't have bills to pay. I was just doing my little routine. I was making friends. I never had any problems there. You know, I always like kind of kept to my own, but I like stayed out of it. So I actually didn't have a bad experience, you know, like nobody really fucked with me. And if they tried to, I'd be like, fuck you. I don't care if you can beat my ass. I'm still going to fight you. So like whatever you want. And then obviously nothing would happen. But I think I had that, what's that syndrome called? Stockholm syndrome,
Oh
or
yeah, Stockholm.
yeah. Like I want to go back. It's like weird, you know. I don't know if you felt that way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's what institutionalized is. You
that's
know
what I
I mean?
mean.
Is you're so stuck in that little fishbowl, and
Yeah,
everything's comfortable because the day to day doesn't change.
it's like scary.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So when I got out, I was like, what am I gonna do? And like, oh my god, you know, all these things going through your head, and like, and I was thinking, man, I wish I could just sleep one more night in my bunk, and you know what I mean, and wake up with those people. It's like weird, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how was it when you paroled? Did you get picked up at the gate, or
I got picked up at the gate,
who picked
and
you up?
my agent and
No
yeah, my
way.
agent did, yeah, yeah, my agent did, and another female. So
No way. They brought you. Where did they bring you to?
so I was supposed to do a program, right? But then they took me there. I was supposed to go to Delancey.
No way.
Yeah, but then Delancey's like, oh, we just got taken by a higher priority type of whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, so now where am I going to? And then I had to go home, so I paroled home.
No way. Was your PO on you when you went home? Like,
you know what? At first he was. You know, I actually had a really awesome PO, and I still actually talk to him to this day, which is funny because he'll check on me and stuff or whatever. Like, so he's like retired, and but he was actually really a big part of helping me. There's two men in general, right? That one parole, one probation that like really helped me a lot. You know, that like I always thank for. But he was like super cool. Made me go to meetings. Like, you have to go to meetings. You got to do this. You got to do, you know, all that stuff, right? Jump through the hoops, you know. But
that's what I tell people too, right? Like, when you stop doing crime and stop using drugs, your POs, like, they don't fuck with you because
they don't. No.
When you do the right thing, like, they don't fuck with you because you're not doing anything that you shouldn't be. You know what
exactly.
I mean? And my last supervision was AB 109, right? Officer Bland, and he was a big part of why I'm clean today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he let me hang myself enough to where, like, I needed to go to treatment, right? And I ran and I got busted, and then he gave me another shot to go to treatment. I went to treatment, and then he allowed me to like work in treatment, even though like I could be around drugs and stuff. You know what I mean? But I discharged after a year. But
like, you know, my parole agent's like super Christian, but very like, you could tell he like cares about people, but he doesn't care if you're like you're fucking up. Like, he can be real fucking mean, you know. And so I was like on high control. So it was like at first he was just like, you know, filling me out, you know, and then as he got to know me, he was just like, you know, you're really smart. Like, what are you doing here? You know, I'm like, I don't know. I like bad guys and and tattoos and drugs and partying, you know.
all the good stuff, right?
And then he's like, oh, you know, so he's like, oh, so he was like more or less feeling bad for me because of the men I was involved with. So he's like kind of putting it on them, but no one held a gun to my head. You know what I mean? Sure. But I played off that, so. You know, I was like, oh yeah, I know, right? Are you let me off early?
So what was?
But he was cool.
What was life like after incarceration and after being home for a while?
It was cool. I was like, okay, now I have this on my record. Is anyone gonna hire me? I'm not gonna, should I say something? Whatever, you know. So I kind of just like did little odd jobs or whatever because I like wasn't feeling confident because I was still kind of like institutionalized and kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of look at the world just a little differently. Yeah. You know, and so I do little odd jobs here and there. And then obviously I met another wonderful man, you know, after that. And I discharged parole. So I did parole completely. I had a car, all that stuff, but nothing like solid or nothing consistent, you know. And the meeting thing, I wasn't really doing in parole. I was like, I would go to a couple, and I'd be like, this isn't me. Like, like, this is my boyfriend did it. Like, the guy I was with, I just didn't say anything. Like, so whatever, you know what I mean? Just like justifying why I don't have to do something and being selfish to do something else that serves my needs rather than knowing that that would actually serve my needs is going to a meeting, you know? So I would have odd jobs, and then I met another guy, and then I, you know, started getting loaded again, right? Yeah. And he was an even bigger dope dealer than the last time, and it was like even better. He had a house, like a huge house, and cars, and like all this stuff. Not that the first one didn't, but this was just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And so, and and he's a gang member, and so, and then it was on and cracking for years after that.
So how long did that last for, do you think?
Let's see. I would say maybe 4 or 5 years, almost into the 6th year, and then into the 6th year, like, because he did one prison term while we were together, or a violation, and got out, and then we were together, and then I got pregnant, and then he went to the feds. So like as I got pregnant, I found out I was pregnant, and then literally went through. He went to another violation. Sorry, he did so much jail time. I'm trying to count. Yeah. I got pregnant. He went to jail, got out, was in prison, then had to go do it, another violation, and then I had my baby, right? And during that time, they were trying to take, obviously my kid away, right, because of his affiliation with a certain particular thing.
Yeah.
And then his whole record was really bad. So when you do that, it was just not good. So me and my family were doing the most, and obviously taking care of my son,
Yeah.
and then he ended up going away for 15 years. So
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how long did your drug use last after?
So off and on after, right? Because I was sad that I was missing him, even though I was trying to be a good mom, and then and then just kind of that cycle. But I will tell you that I just didn't know. I didn't have any direction. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't going to meetings. I didn't know anyone sober. If I had, I probably would have had more direction.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm just kind of living, so here I am. I'm a mom. I don't know what to do. My dude's gone because he was always taking care of everything. So now I have to deal with my parents, or lack of family thereof, or some of them that are, mad at me, or what, you know what I mean? And it was just sometimes you just don't want to deal with that shit,
Yeah, for sure.
And then I would say things really, really turned around for me. When I was just so upset, I just started using drugs. So I obviously couldn't see my son, So I was using drugs, running the streets.
Who had your son?
Family. Okay. So then running the streets, and then just picking up, case after. I mean, I literally have 40 booking photos from that specific period alone.
Dang.
Yeah, it's I don't even look like the same person. Yeah. I show people all the time. Yeah. They're like, some of my bosses asked to see it, and they're like, "Can I see it?" I'm like, "Are you sure?" I don't want you to look at me. Yeah. But I can't believe I thought I looked good. What was I doing? Walking the streets like that? I would arrest me.
Yeah, for sure. But in your mind, I get that.
So, when you're crime billing and criming, and you have priors, you have a prison prior, and, the prison prior is violence and drugs and all sorts of shit, and then you're in jail, and, you're getting in fights. It's just the whole cycle of all of that, right? So, and it was either, I went to the point where I kept getting out, okay, you can go do a program. Then get kicked out for fraternizing, because I always want to find a fucking dude, right? That's my number one thing, right? Yeah. Let me find a dude to distract myself with. So, dumpster diving, essentially. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Trying to find I'm not doing changing shit. Yeah. So I was at the Phoenix house, and I was supposed to be at the Phoenix house for 6 months. Before that, so I was going through crime bail crime. I was picking up case after case after case, to the point where my PO was like, "This is what's going to go on. You're going to go either to prison 4 or 5 years straight, right, at 85%, or you can do drug court." And I was like, "What's drug court? What's that?" And I really wanted to be out for my son and my family, and just live. I didn't want to be, because I was getting used to being out and all that, right? And I was like, "Well, what's that?" And then everyone in jail was like, "Don't do it. It's a setup." Yeah. And I'm like, "Well, how's it a setup?" And I was just like, "Well, it can't be that much. I mean, whatever. Yeah. I'm going to check. I don't want to fucking go to prison for 5 years at 85%. I'm good. Yeah. I don't want to do all that again." You know what I mean? So
when I met you, you're on drug court, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. So I took to drug court, and then I got denied because it was at West Court, because they're like, no, her charges are too gnarly.
Yeah.
So I'll take her to Santa Ana. She might get approved there.
Santana, fool.
And that, I mean, Santana's cool. Yeah, Santana. Yeah. So I went to Santana drug court, and Judge Lindley approved me. So she's like, we can work with you because your drugs and other stuff are involved in it together. Yeah.
So you went to the Phoenix house from there?
I did. And then
how long was your Phoenix house stay?
It was supposed to be 6 months, and I was like, fuck, 6 months, you know?
Yeah, that's a long time.
And I made it about 5. And right before I was supposed to, like, you know, obviously be done, I mean, I was fraternizing with a guy, and then I got caught, and they kicked me out. And then I was like, well, I'm going to go on the run because I'm not going to go to jail, because I know that once you get kicked out of rehab from drug court, they'll arrest you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's done. You're going to jail. I'm like, I don't want to fucking go to jail. Like, I was just doing so good. All I wanted was, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. How can I go to jail for that? So, of course, like I always do, I'm like, no, I'm fucking going to jail. Fuck you. Come find me. So, ended up leaving, and I went on the run. I was on the run for about 1.5 years, and it was a good time, but it wasn't a good time, you know. And I was missing my kid, missing like any type of normal life that I could have, you know. And then my stepfather at the time was like, look, you know, if you don't get it together, you're just going to lose everything, and you'll have no support, no family, no chance, no nothing, you know. And I was like, you're going to jail. I'll take you. I'll drive you there, or you can keep going, but don't ever call me again.
Yeah.
You know. And I was like, all right, I'll go. So I went. I'm doing a shot of dope in the car in front of you.
No way.
Yeah, I did. He's like, all right, go ahead.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like not giving a fuck. I apologize. I made a mess of that later, but at the time I was just like, all right, you're going to take me to jail? Fuck you then, you know? Yeah.
So when did we meet?
What,
2014.
I think, was it 2014?
Yeah, that's
13, 14?
2014, that's when I crawled, and that's when I went to the Phoenix.
Yeah. That's right.
So this was prior to that, right?
Yes.
And I just want to thank Colleen for being a important person in my recovery, because you first took me to the Out of the Darkness meeting. Mm-hmm. And through there, I found Santa Ana Alano Club and got my home group through there. And she took me to Cooper Fellowship for my first time.
Yeah, Cooper School.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And like, those are cool places because there are people who look like us who've been through the same stuff we've been through, right? Mm-hmm. Because prior to that, all the meetings that I went to were like Newport or like,
oh my god,
yeah, like,
oh, my pill addiction.
Yeah.
So I still drive my BMW.
Yeah, like,
not to make fun of that, but
going to Cooper Fellowship and to Santa Ana Alano Club, it's like a prison yard that's clean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Pretty much.
People are moving different.
Everybody understands because we all went through the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I just want to thank you for that, because you got me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To the rooms. Yeah.
I know. I'm like so proud of you.
She used to pick us up from Phoenix House and take us to the meetings, and that was really awesome of you.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, you did the work, right?
Yeah.
I can do it for you. You know, you just, you know, even if it's one person, right? That's the whole point of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, so what ended up happening? You ended up getting busted again, or for taking off from the Phoenix House?
Okay, so I took off, went on the run, had a warrant, and then I called my PO and I was like, hey. He's like, yeah, you got kicked out. I'm all, yeah, so, you know, I'm not going to go to jail, or am I going to jail? And he's like, you know, you're going to fucking go to jail. I go, well, I'm not ready to go to jail. So he goes, all right, then, well, I'll see you on the flip side. I'll see you. And I was like, okay, we'll see about that, you know. And he never got me.
No way.
No, I went for 1.5 years and fucking, I couldn't believe it, but it was cool. Yeah. You know, I had a place to stay. It was good. It was, you know, all that stuff. So it worked out for me, you know? And then until the time I was like, okay, I think I've done enough drugs. I think it's time. Like, what am I doing? You know? And so, and then when I got that phone call, I was like, okay, I accepted it. So I went into and turned myself in, and they were like, wow, I can't believe we didn't catch you, or you get picked up, you know? I go, I told you weren't going to come get me.
Yeah.
So, and at the time, my PO was switching to a different PO. So he was switching to another person, right? And he's like, I'm probably not going to be your PO for much longer. It's going to switch. I'm going somewhere else, you know? And I was like, oh, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. So you only got to see me for like 2 little minutes and you just saw me fucking dodging and ducking and diving you, you know? But he was cool. So I said, look, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this seriously, they're like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to prison? Do you just want to do your time, no tail? Or do you want to get sober and do the drug court thing? I'm like, just fucking send me to rehab. I'll do the drug court for sure. You know what I mean? Let's just do that, you know? And I go, but don't send me to a rehab with guys.
Yeah.
Because I'll end up, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to find a boyfriend, you know, that's going to be forever, you know, and that's not going to happen. So, and they were like, yeah, no problem. We'll take it. We'll send you to the villa. And I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, you went to the villa?
And then I went to the villa.
Villa's hardcore, dude.
Yeah. And I went there and I was glad I did because I was like, just don't send me to some fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need that, you know? I need to focus on myself and be around other women.
No coffee though?
Yeah, it was crazy. I know, and we had to do some of the craziest stuff there. Not to knock the villa,
yeah.
But my gosh,
I remember this Cooper Fellowship when I was there, right? People from the outside used to go to kind of the meetings, and I remember like girls from the villa would go over there.
Yeah,
and I started.
It was like the fun time.
Yeah, and I started dating.
We're like, ooh, convicts.
Yeah, I started dating once we used to get our
yeah, that was a good
work pass, and then so I would go meet her somewhere.
Yeah,
she'll tell me, bring me coffee, and I was like, what do you mean? She's all, bag it up, like the Folgers.
Oh yeah, because she had
so
bring it back.
So I would bring like
because they would search us.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 little balls of coffee.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Her and her friend just started downing it right there, like.
I don't even doubt it.
I was like, that's savage.
I don't even doubt it. You know what? You know what? I got caught in the store one time. I was like on I had to pass it. What was I doing? Oh, they made us work at this flower shop. So they made us work at this flower shop, like, you know, pruning roses and making little bouquets and stuff. I was like, that was chill. I was like, I'll do that. Like, whatever, you know. But I was at this flower shop and like, you know, wanting coffee and stuff, you know. And so I was like, let's just go to the store real quick, right? So I'm like, let's go. And the girl's like, yeah, let's go get some coffee. So we went. As we're walking out of the store, we get caught by one of the head people.
No way.
Miss Brianna. Yeah, she's like, what are you guys doing? I'm all, you know, I just wanted some gum, you know, or, you know, she's like, why are you fucking lying? I'm like, I want a coffee. Do what? You know what I mean? Like, fucking, she's like, all right, you know, whatever, you know. So she let that slide. So thank you.
No, for sure.
She was cool, but I mean, she could have held me back or whatever. But they used to make us sing like the dumbest song in the morning.
What was it?
I am a happy person. I maintain a cheerful, positive disposition. Like, and I'm not going to go any further. But it started that way. You know, we had to say all of that stupid shit every morning. I'd be like, oh my God.
So, did you stay clean from there on out, or how was your?
I mean, yeah, I know I stayed clean. I stayed clean the whole time until I graduated drug court. I never went to you know what's weird is I never went on sanctions because of drugs. I went on sanctions because of my behavior.
Yeah.
Because I have behavior problems.
Yeah. You gotta change everything, like they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to change everything. And you know, it's funny because I was like, I thought it was just about being like, you know, going through a little therapy. Because I mean, obviously, I was doing group therapy, individual therapy. Like drug court does provide like a lot of things for you to like get your shit together. So I was utilizing the therapy, utilizing the group therapy, utilizing the other stuff. I didn't have to go to college because I already went there. I already did that. But I did anyway. Like I went and did a yoga class there. And, whatever, just make them fucking happy. They're like, do you want me to? Like, they're like, just do it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, whatever you want. So I did that, and you know, drug court. I stayed sober for the most part, but I had a lot of behavior problems, and I'll mention one. There's quite a few, but so I would always want to. I was banned from not hanging out with certain people, right? So I couldn't be in like pictures or be around them or anything like that, you know. And so obviously, when I'm told that, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. You know, like I'm gonna do because I've always been like against authority. You know, like if you tell me this is what I have to do, no, I don't have to do shit. You know what I mean? So I had to change a lot of those things. But this one in particular time, well, for a previous sanction. So mind you, okay, so I got to tell the story. It's just hilarious. So Reader's Digest version. So I was dating this guy. And I didn't know he was selling drugs. I swear to God, I did not know. He was like sober, doing the meeting thing, doing the alumni, all that shit, right? But he was selling fucking heroin, and I had no idea, right? So, and I thought I would always wonder like how he was making so much money doing like the little carpenter jobs or things he was telling me, because he was like fat stacks of cash. I'm like, how are you getting that much money over there? I mean, that's, whatever. I just stopped asking questions, you know, and. So one day, he was at Clean Path.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know who it is.
Remember?
Yeah, I know exactly who it is. I was gonna ask you. Yeah, I know.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So it was at Clean Path, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and then boom, like a bunch of cops roll up, and they're like, "Fucking freeze!" And you know, you see him get down there after him. I'm thinking, "No, it's not him; it's somebody else."
Yeah.
But they're after him, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" You know?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Get out of the car." So they put me out of the car. They didn't put me in handcuffs. They're like, "Go sit down," you know. And I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?" So they put him in handcuffs. So, and I'm like, "Shit, I can't have police contact." Fuck, dude. And my PO, mind you, who was like super, super paranoid about me even dating anyone with any felonies, like anybody, right? He just was like, you know. I was like, "Please, he's fine, he's sober," you know. And he's like, okay, you know. And then I'm sitting here going, fuck. Now I got to tell this guy this, you know, because I had police contact and you have to tell him. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, fuck, dude, what's going on? And lo and behold, you know, the cops are like, "Are you gonna tell like your chick? Like, are you gonna tell us where the dope's at? Like, you need to tell us," because he wasn't telling them, you know. And then he's like, I don't know. And they're like, "Okay, check this out. We're gonna take her to jail, or you can tell us where the dope's at." And I was sitting there, I'm all, you know,
No way.
I'm like, "Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, we're talking about your dope?"
No way.
You know, I'm just like finding all of this out, you know. So obviously he was a good guy and he was like, "Okay, tell you where it's at. Just don't take her to jail," you know? And I was like, "Yeah, go fucking tell him where it's at." Fuck you, motherfucker. I've been lying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't wait to fucking give him an earful. So long story short, he told him where it was. They let me go. You know, he went on his little merry way to his fucking prison, you know? And I was just like, I couldn't believe that he was selling heroin while he's pretending to be sober and like, you know, it's like, you're what? So that was a trip. And so obviously I had to tell my PO, and he was very disappointed in me. And this is the second guy that actually, I like him because that changed my life as far as in recovery, because he held me accountable. Because if I can like work my way with you, and you're, you know, a PO, I'll work it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I will. I'll work you. Especially if you're a dude, you know? Like if you're a chick, you know, it's not so much, but unless she's like a lesbian. No, but so basically, you know, in a nutshell, so he would hold me accountable, but he like treated me, because he was a girl dad, so he had like 5 daughters. And he would be like, "You always, like, you remind me of a daughter, because my daughter's, you know, the same age as you, you know, and you're smart, you know." He's like, "I don't know why you're here," but so he was really like encouraging me in that way, but also holding me accountable to my bullshit. He's like, "You ain't gonna fucking manipulate me," you know. So I had to tell him that. He was really upset. He was like, "You didn't know he had dope in his, you didn't know he was selling drugs? Oh, really?" Like, and I'm like, "Come on, I get it. You think I'm lying. I understand." You know, but I swear I'm not, you know. So he took my phone from me for like 3 days to like do some computer analytic FBI shit on it, and found out I was telling the truth. I'm like, "Dude, I told you." You know what I mean? And then no contact order, so whatever. But by then he was already going to prison, so okay, who cares, you know? But the dude was writing me letters, right? But I would hide him or put him away, whatever, you know. But then I had his Jaguar, right? So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking ride his Jaguar until he gets out of prison."
No way.
You know, and I had my other car, right? So I'm driving around in this Jaguar, like, you know, just cruising around, and then I had to do this thinking for a change class, right? After that whole little debacle, right? Because they were like, "We're going to give you a chance," but, you know, so we wanted to think for a change.
No way.
So I'm in there with a bunch of degenerates, right? And I finished the class, like top of the class. I'm like, super fucking studious chick, competitive, So I'm going to be the best PO fucking person here,
Yeah.
And so I graduated that class. And then the same day from that class, everyone's all applauding me. All these therapists and POs and cops are all, yes, I get out, get in the Jaguar driving, right? And my PO goes, hey, do you mind coming back? Turning around for a second. I'm like, yeah, but why? What's wrong? So just come back. Just gotta talk to you. And I'm thinking, fuck, dude, because I seen two cops see me.
Yeah.
And they were like checking me out because they remember me from downstairs in the PO because I would always go downstairs. Okay. And I saw them staring at me and I was like, fuck. Like, I was just kind of like, shit, do they know it's not my car,
Yeah.
And of course, they went and snitched on me to this motherfucker. She's driving a fucking Jaguar, and he'd be like, no.
No way.
And so he's probably just, anyway. So I go there. I go right back in the Jaguar, park in the same spot. Walk to the fucking office, and he goes, "Hey, what are you driving?" I'm like, "If we're gonna play this game, you already know what I'm driving, so let's not play it." He's all, "Is it a Jaguar?" I go, "Yeah." He's all, "Is it this license plate?" I'm all, "Yes." And he's like, "Why are you driving that car?" And I'm like, "Because it's a Jaguar. Why not? I'm driving a fucking Honda."
Yeah.
And he goes, "But you're not supposed to be doing that." And I'm like, "Why? It's a car." He's like, "Oh, you have a no contact order." I'm all, "He's not around me." He's like, "It's his car, bitch." I'm like, "And I know, what the fuck?" Like, he goes, "Colleen, no, you cannot have a drug dealer's car driving around in a Jaguar. Yes, it's nice, but no, I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, all right, then what do you want me?" He's like, "I'm confiscating that car." And I was like, "Well, no, give it to his mom. Like, that's fucked up. Like, don't do that, And he was like, "Okay, what's her number?" Like, I'm like, "All right," So I gave it. I'm like, don't take it and impound it. Dude, that's fucked up, And so the mom came and got it. And the mom was like yelling at him, like telling him, like, "Oh, fucking, saying all sorts of shit." So that didn't help my case, but and then but before they impounded it, they wanted to search it, right? Because they're like, "Oh, she's probably selling drugs." You know how they are.
Yeah.
Right. So I had these two cops, and one of them had like a lisp, and I'm not making fun of lispy people. I'm just saying he's a cop on top of it, and whatever. So they come in, they're like, we're gonna go search the car, And I was like, "Yeah, go fucking search it," So they went to search it, come back, and they go, "It smelled like marijuana,"
No way.
And I'm all, "Do you know what fucking marijuana smells like, bro?" And he was like, "I've been trained and to know what it smells like, and I'm just like, well, clearly fucking not, okay, because it was a fucking cigarette, dude, okay, because I drug test with this motherfucker. So why don't you get the fuck out of here?" So I started getting like all hypey, and my PO was like, "You need to fucking calm down." He's like, "You gotta get out before she starts fucking losing her shit." I've lost my shit on cops before, so he was like, "You need to go."
Did you have any more run-ins with the law after that?
You know what? Did I? No, I think that was close to the end, right? And it was close to the end of my. I think it was one of the last times I went to jail. So I went to jail. They put me in jail for like a month and a half. It was so lame. I was just like, "What the? Come on, dude."
What was it for?
For that bullshit. Yeah, and I'm like, "You know what?" He's like, "I'm just trying to teach you a lesson." Because I would call him from jail, and they get free calls on their fucking thing. I'd be like, "Come on, motherfucker, let me out." What the? He's like, "Colleen, I'm gonna let you out. I'm just letting you sit there and learn a lesson." And he's all, "You have to understand this." He's all, "I promise you, it's for your own good." I'm like, "Whatever, bro." Because I had a job at the time. I was working at Jan's. I was working a part-time job and working out and eating healthy. And I was like, "Man, he like fucked up my whole little get down." But anyways, he ended up letting me out. Then I had to wait. Obviously, it took me 5 fucking years to graduate drug course, 18-month program.
No way.
Because I'm such a bad girl.
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm grateful for that program. It did a lot for me,
So what was the moment that turned the light on where something had to change?
With my behavior or just being sober?
With both.
Well, I just needed to be sober because I know that if I am shooting dope and sticking a needle in my arm and doing drugs like that, right? It's it's hard to stop, you know. Like I just keep going. I'll keep going, going, you know. And then I'm either beating people up or causing problems or just whatever. I'm just angry, you know.
Do you remember a distinctive moment where you said, "Man, I gotta fucking change some shit, or it's gonna be all bad"?
Usually, almost every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I would be by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be in moments of like where I'd be in weird situations and being like, what am I doing here? Or situations where I'm sitting by myself contemplating like what I'm doing with my life and being like, what am I doing? I need to change this.
So what does your life look like today?
Um, my life is great. I mean, to be honest with you, if I wasn't sober, I wouldn't have all the things that I have today, you know? I have a house. I live by myself. I have 2 dogs. My family loves me. I have all of my family in my life. I have amazing friends. You know, I care about my investments and my credit score, and I care about money or like making money, or I care about retirement and all these other things and not chasing dough. You know what I mean? I care about like integrity and like obviously boundaries and keeping the right people around me, and I don't care about the rest, you know. So that's kind of what I am. I like you today.
Well, I'm really glad we crossed paths because, like I said, you're a big part of my recovery, and whenever I share my story, you're always a part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do you have any words of wisdom to give somebody out there that might be struggling right now with addiction or behavior or getting incarcerated?
Yeah, I mean, if you are, you know, if you're going through addiction, if you're going through mental health issues, if you're feeling like depressed, or even if you're feeling like there's no way or how to, you know, do it, just reach out to somebody that's sober. Gabriel, I mean, there's so many resources out there. So he's a really, obviously, an amazing resource, right? So there's just ask for help, because it's honestly life changing when you do it. You just got to make the decision. It's honestly not that bad. Because when I first got sober, I was like, oh, it's going to be so bad. The come down, the kick, it's going to be so bad. And my life is going to be so awful. And then when you're sober, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think all these problems are waiting for you. And it's really not.
Like the thing that used to mess with me, right, was like thinking, how am I not going to be able to use or drink for the rest of my life? Right. But my sponsor told me, just don't drink or use today, then do the same thing tomorrow.
Yes, yeah.
And you stack days and weeks and months and years.
And then like also like hanging around like the right people, right? And like-minded people that are growing, people that are changing, people that are sober, all that stuff, right? And I have friends that drink. I have friends that whatever, right? But I'm somebody that's just never gonna judge somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that. I mean, I won't have them like kick it in my pad or whatever, but but I do have like normal friends because of like the industry I'm in now. Like I have a finance job, so
for sure.
So all of that, but
and just because I choose not to drink doesn't mean the rest of the world can't drink or use drugs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because I know when I do, I end up in handcuffs or in prison or homeless.
Yeah.
If they ever need help, they know they can reach out.
Exactly. Yeah. I've helped a few people, you know, like here's a resource here get sober here, you know what I mean? So, because I actually do like care, you know, about, you know, people, especially when they're struggling, because even if like they're depressed or whatnot, you know what I mean? And you know what I just went through.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so and then he was a prime example of somebody who held in secrets, and was very, very, very much like a depressive drug addict, you know, and I had no idea. You know what I mean? So,
and life still happens, you know what I mean? But as long as we don't use and keep trying to do the right thing and stay clean, like everything will work itself out, you know. And I'm a firm believer that my higher power has me here for a reason, you know, and it's to show people that change is possible. And I really want to thank you for coming on, Colleen, and sharing your story.
Well, thank you for having me. Sorry it took me so long.
No, for sure. Remember, guys, change is possible. Fools get clean too. What's your comeback story?